Hi, ladies. Welcome to the first episode of Black Girlie in Her 20s podcast. I am so excited to be starting this channel and this podcast. This is something that I've been wanting to do for a while. I really enjoy having difficult conversations that make people uncomfortable. I love spilling the tea and helping my fellow Black girlies out there to just become your ultimate self. It's 2025. Let's level up. Let's put ourselves first and just make the best of life because you only get one life. So here on this channel, we're going to be keeping it super real and discussing how to make your 20s the best and the healthiest years of your life, as they should be. As I stated, it's 2025 and it's time to level up financially, physically, etc. We are taking care of our mental health and we're taking more time for ourselves and putting ourselves first. I know we grew up watching our moms and our grandmothers and our aunts and, the other older Black women in our family put everyone above themselves. But that shit stops today. We are breaking that generational curse and we are putting ourselves first. It's nothing wrong with being selfish. It's a dog-eat-dog world. You got to put yourself first at all times. I don't care if anyone gets offended, if anyone, calls you selfish or says you're a narcissist, which you're not. You have to put yourself first because if you think about it, people always put themselves first. That's how other people get hurt because they aren't considering other people's feelings. So I'm sorry, I just went off on a tangent, but yeah, I'm just so happy to be a part of this generation that is saying no, and we're breaking generational curses. We're speaking about our traumas. We're, getting the help that we need, if that's seeing a therapist or taking, antidepressants, whatever you need to do to cope with what you've been through as a child, an adult, a teenager, whatever, do what you need to do for you. And that's just what it is. That's just, So I feel like setting boundaries is so important, especially in your 20s, because I feel like your 20s is the age where you're finding yourself and you're realizing who you are and what you want to be. You're working, you're in school, or maybe you're done with school and you're just working, or maybe you're married, or getting married, you're dating around, whatever. I feel like the 20s is the time where you're supposed to enjoy life. You're supposed to be happy and stress-free and, figuring out life and learning, things as you go. And I find a lot of Black girls, Black women that are in their 20s are stressed out. I know life is hard, but there's so many ways to make life easier if you just take a minute to face things on face value and realize what's stressing you out. If it's family, cut them off. If it's a friend, cut them off. I don't care. If you've known them for 20 years, that's your brother, that's your sister, cut them off. I'm telling you guys, 2025 is the year where we are leveling all the way up, and people aren't gonna like it. They're gonna say oh, you become such a bitch, and oh, you're moving weird. And no, you're not moving weird. You're putting yourself first, and that's just how it has to be nowadays. And there's nothing wrong with that, putting yourself first. If something is triggering you, you don't have to subject yourself to it. And I want to let you guys know, I don't know who's gonna hear this, I don't know who this resonates with, but if work is stressing you out, take a sick day if you're able to. I don't want you guys to lose your job, okay? I need my girlies employed and getting that money. But if you're able to take a day off and just recuperate and try again the next day, do it. There's literally nothing wrong with that. Guys, I need you guys to prioritize self-care 1,000%. It literally makes a huge difference on your mental. So for our topic for today, we are going to be discussing what I wish I knew in my 20s. And I'm just going to be giving you guys, little suggestions and tips on how to level up for 2025. So the first topic that I really want to get into is credit. Building your credit, if you have good credit, I'm so proud of you. You deserve a round of applause. Like, let's give a round of applause for the girlies that have amazing credit. I'm so proud of you. For me, I didn't start taking credit seriously until I met my husband. I feel like my husband just like saved me in like a lot of ways, which I'll get into in future episodes. But this episode, I really want to just say, like, my husband really just showed me things in a different light. He's taught me like a lot of things that my mom, didn't, or I don't want to like bash her, but she didn't really like teach me, certain things, like adult things, like, taxes and credit and, stuff like that. So I'm saying build your credit, and I'm not just saying it just to say it. And you know how some people will be like, oh, do this, do that, and they're not doing anything they're telling you to do. I'm telling you guys to work on your credit because that's what I'm doing. So long story short, I was always like a little bit hesitant to get a credit card because my mom low-key instilled fear in me. Like, if I get a credit card, this is like literally what she'd say. She'd be like, if you get a credit card, you're gonna have to pay all this money and it's bad. And she basically made it seem like I just shouldn't do it. So when I was living at home and I would get like mail from Chase or Bank of America because I had debit cards through them, they would always be like, oh, you're pre-selected for a credit card. And she'd be like, she'd be like, whatever you do, don't open up a credit card, like, you're gonna owe so much money and it's gonna be bad and you could ruin your credit score by owing so much money. So I steered clear from opening up a credit card. And here I am, 26 years old, and I'm working on my credit because my mother instilled fear in me that if I had a credit card, bad things were going to happen to me. So do you guys see how like our parents sometimes like set us up for failure? And that's going to be a whole other episode in itself as well, which I cannot wait to get into. So I learned the importance of credit through my husband. He was trying to buy a new car and the prices were outrageous because his score wasn't that great at the time. But then he started working on it, and within like, I would say like a month or so, he was able to buy a new car just because his score like went up so much. And when he got the car, like, it was so much cheaper than what they were originally asking for because his score like increased so well. And I was like so proud of him because I'm like, wow, that's really cool. Like, if your credit is good, like the possibilities are endless. Like, you could really buy a house, you could buy this, buy that, like, for cheap. So that like inspired me to, get a credit card. And he told me, he was like, like, I got you, don't worry about it. Just make small purchases on there. So when you have to pay it back, it's not like a lot of money. And he just really like helped me with that and just guided me in the right direction, which I'm so thankful for. And I'm so glad that I'm finally working on that. Like, I'm a little embarrassed to say like I'm 26 and I'm just now working on my credit score. But yeah, like, I saw the difference that it makes, and it's important. Like, I never really thought too much about it, but seeing it firsthand, like, he was able to buy a Mercedes Benz for like super cheap because his score is like so high. So that just like really inspired me. If you're struggling with your credit, I would say a tip that he taught me, something that we discussed, was to make small purchases on the credit card. So for your debit card, make like, more expensive purchases or just use cash. But he said credit card, if you want to order from Uber Eats or something, or pay for your nails or, lashes, you could definitely use your credit card. So when it's time to pay that money back, you're not like scrambling and searching your couch for pennies and stuff. So yes, girls, credit is so important. And I say this as someone who is currently working on her credit score. I know my score is neutral right now, but neutral is okay. You might as well have bad credit if your score is neutral. And I literally watched him, like, he was trying everything to get this Benz. Like, he was going crazy. He was like, I gotta get this Benz. And his credentials are fine, pay stubs, all that good stuff. Income is good. My husband makes 6 figures, and they were giving him a hard time about purchasing a car because of his credit score. But he fixed it, and I'm so proud of him, and we just love our car. So, yeah. Credit is so important, guys. Like, seriously. So the next thing I want to get into for 2025, which I feel like I mentioned before, which I feel is so important, is, being selfish. And I want to tell you guys, I know like there's this whole like thing surrounding being selfish and, putting yourself first is like a bad thing, but it's really not. And I'm here to tell you that if someone is saying that you're wrong for being selfish, you're a narcissist for putting yourself first, you need to leave them alone, because they're trying to play this mind game with you. So you become like a selfless person and you just overextend yourself to everybody, because things that people say to us stay in our heads, believe it or not. I remember things that someone said to me when I was a child, and it still stays in my head. So if someone in your life is saying like, you shouldn't put yourself first, you need to kind of distance yourself off from them, because they're playing a dirty game with you. And if you're easy to manipulate and you are an empath and you have empathy for people like me, I am a huge empath. I have so much empathy for people, which is kind of like my downfall, because I always try to see the good in people. I always give people the benefit of the doubt. I always feel sorry for people, especially for those that don't deserve it. So I'm working on that as well, like putting myself first, which is really hard, because when you are a giving person, a caring person, a good person, you have a conscience, which is something that I have. I have a conscience, you guys. Like, I feel bad if I, look at somebody funny. And, if I make a face at somebody, I feel like horrible afterwards. So it's something that I'm working on as well, putting myself first, putting my needs first. If this doesn't serve me, I don't have to subject myself to it. And I'm telling you guys this as a woman who used to overextend herself to everybody. I put myself in uncomfortable situations because I wanted to satisfy people. I didn't want people feeling like, I didn't want to be around them. I didn't want anyone being upset with me. And that's another thing as well, is thinking that people are going to be upset with you because you choose yourself. If they're upset, let them be upset. They don't have to understand, because at the end of the day, you're doing what's best for you, and there's nothing wrong with that at all. There's nothing wrong with it. And my last and final point is that your 20s go by so fast, and they really do. Like, the fact that I'm 26 years old, I can't even believe it. Like, I remember being in high school and I was like, oh my God, I can't wait to grow up. I can't wait. Now I'm like, this shit is ghetto. Like, ew. But your 20s go by so fast. Like, I remember when I was 19 and I was literally turning 20 the next day, and I couldn't believe it. Like, I was like, oh my God, like, I'm so excited. Like, I'm so close to being able to drink. And, it was just like such a groundbreaking moment. And the headspace I was in then to now, it's a huge difference, obviously. But it's just so amazing how much we grow and change over the years, and we see things different. We experience different things, and it's really crazy. So your 20s go by so fast. Enjoy it and have fun. Like, live life to the fullest. Your life should be peaceful. You deserve peace. You deserve a happy life. You deserve love. You deserve joy. You deserve to achieve all your goals. You deserve everything in life. And you just deserve the best. Period. I don't care what anyone says. Everyone deserves the best in life, especially if you're a good person. So those are my tips for leveling up for 2025. I hope you guys enjoyed this first episode of Black Girlie in Her 20s podcast. Thank you so much for listening. If you made it all the way to the end of this episode, thank you so much for listening and giving my channel a try. I'm so excited to be building this channel and building up my podcast and putting out new episodes. Thank you so much for watching. Let me know what you girlies think. I hope you ladies enjoyed today's first episode. And please don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. And thank you so much. Bye.